Okay. So he was both a fakir and an emir king. We loved Baba as our master, but we had no idea who he really was. Baba would finish most of his lunch by 11 o'clock. In India, rice is commonly served last. And when Baba was having rice, everyone else would start eating. Sometimes Baba served the portions himself. He usually gave us more than we could eat, and we would say, Baba, that's enough. But he would say, no, you must finish every bit of it because I have given it. The women would sit on one side of the porch and the men on the other. Baba would walk down. Oh, Baba would walk down the middle, and seeing we didn't waste anything and that we were obeying his order. Baba liked to see people eating. If someone came to see him, one of the first questions he asked was, have you eaten? If they had not, he would want them to be fed. On the other hand, if someone brought treats, such as parched rice or chana, it was not allowed to be given to the mandali, but was to be kept to be given as prasad to the village children. From the beginning, Mehera noticed and remembered the smallest details about her beloved. For example, one day Mehera came in onto the post office veranda just as Baba was finishing his meal. Padri, Gustaji, and Masaji were with him. She sat on the veranda. There had been some small talk and Baba was laughing. When Baba smiled or laughed, he never opened his mouth, nor did he laugh very lightly. He would chuckle slightly and his lips would form a smile, but his mouth would not open. So, but on that day when Baba laughed, the right side of his mouth went up like a sneer, as if to say, how could that be so? For just a moment, he opened his mouth in a broad smile. When his lips were parted, Mehera looked up, and for the first and only time, she saw Baba's front teeth. It was the only time in her life Mehera remembered seeing Baba's teeth clearly. When Baba spoke, he mixed words from different languages together. For instance, if he was speaking Dari, a Persian dialect, he might intersperse a few words or even sentences of Gujarati. For those Dari words he did not know. Like Mehera, Baba was from pure Irani stock, so he spoke a bit of Dari. Mehera was intrigued and listened unobtrusively from a distance. It says in the sidebar, over the next 10 years, Baba would lose many of his teeth. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Mehera was intrigued and listened unobtrusively from a distance. One day, as he spoke Was Sahib, one of the Mandali in Dari, he said it was fun to hear Baba speaking a different language. Did Baba speak quickly? The author asked her. Not very fast. He had a nice way of talking. Mani talks too fast. I can also speak a bit fast. And Jal, Baba's brother, beats us all. Jal talks so fast, I can't understand what he says. Baba Jan, too, sometimes mixed languages when she spoke. One day, Mehera was given a new order. She was told not to eat chutney. herself, but to prepare it for Baba by grinding garlic, salt, coconut, and a small amount of red chili together on a grinding stone. A few days later, when Baba tasted her chutney, he said, "There's no salt in the chutney." Mehera said, "I think I put salt in it." "There's not enough. Do you taste it?" "No, Baba, you told me not to eat it." "What are you talking about? My order was not to eat it. You must taste it before you give it to me. Have that much care to see what kind of food you're giving me, whether it's tasty or not." From then on, Mehera would taste the chutney. Subsequently, Baba lifted the order and she was allowed to have it. In those days, we tried to obey Baba literally to the letter. While they were cooking, after they finished eating, Baba would walk back and forth on the veranda singing. He would sing a few lines from one song over and over, and then some from another. One day, when Khorshid was tending the fire and Mehera was cleaning garlic, they were being more attentive to his voice than to their work. Baba stopped in the middle of the song and asked, "Do you know the meaning of these lines?" The words were in High Urdu, in which they were not so well versed. So they said no. Baba explained. The song says that even while absorbed in daily life, let your head always be on your master's feet. It means that while doing anything, never forget the master. Oh, and Mehera vowed to follow this advice. There are times when we are enjoying ourselves when we don't think of Baba. When we are enjoying a nice turkey dinner, for instance. They had turkey. At that time, we must remember to say Baba's name. And we must tell him, "Come eat with me, Baba, then you can eat." But it is difficult to remember him every time. One day, Baba was pacing the veranda, singing a few lines, and he suddenly stopped and looked at the girls and remarked, you have no idea how fortunate you are to be with me at this time." Mehera thought, yes, we are lucky. Only later did I realize that Baba meant how lucky we were to hear him talking or singing, to be in Meherabad alone with him when it was so quiet. There was not much activity at Meherabad then, and Baba had to spend more time with his close ones. Baba interrupted the songs he sang to teach Mehera and the other girls about spirituality. Being so young, children really, and not knowing much about spirituality when they arrived, that is how they learned. But as Baba had given them the order not to read or write, they could not take anything down or keep a diary. Mehera did not find these orders burdensome. She disliked writing and thought her handwriting was poor. In a way, she was relieved. There was also another order given at this time. One day, Baba clapped and explained about not touching men. I'll just finish this. In the beginning, or talking with men. In the beginning, we knew Baba didn't like us to talk to men. Mehera said, Nadia must have talked too much with her father and Baba saw it. Later, Baba lifted the order for others, but it was never relaxed for Mehera. You can pick up if you want.
In the afternoons, Baba sat talking with the men on the veranda of the post office While the women went inside to their room, Dalatmai, who had been told to repeat God's name for 1 hour in the morning, would do some sewing. Mehera would tidy Baba's things or dust. Often, Dalamasi would ask Khorshid or Mehera to tell her a story. They would begin, but when they were halfway through, she would doze off. Sometimes Mehera would hear Baba laughing and joking outside with the men. Baba had a rippling sort of laugh. He had a way of teasing and interjecting a funny remark into the conversation. His nature and disposition was playful and cheerful. He never liked a dull moment. He loved to sing and sang lines of his favorite songs often during the day. His singing voice was so beautiful, it touched one's heart. When visitors came, Baba gave discourses or spiritual explanations. Could you scroll up, dear? Naja remembered being lost in listening to them while she cooked. That time we did not know where we were living, she said. There was no world for us, only Baba and these spiritual talks. We were like mad people. What we were doing, what we were eating, we didn't care about anything. We didn't want to go out for an outing or lay down to rest, nothing, because all the time we had Baba's talk. Since the days of Kasba Path, Naja had taken an interest in helping the older women in with the cooking, and Baba had noticed this. He would say later that she was like Martha at the time of Jesus, and he had told her privately, "One thing I tell you, don't marry. If they ask you, refuse. Say, ask Merwan." And Naja had done so. Why don't I read that little sidebar there?
You want me to read it?
I can. This one I can see for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, visitors always met Baba outside on the veranda of the post office. The room inside was kept private, exclusively for the women. Could you scroll up, please?
I'm not sure where you left off.
She was like Martha at the time of Jesus, and he had told her privately, "Don't marry."
I'm not seeing it.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Okay. One thing I tell you, don't marry. If they ask you, refuse. Say, ask Merwan. And Naja had done so. In the evening, Baba would lean back on his pillow on the veranda and tell Mehera, Small Khorshid, and Naja to massage his feet. After a little while, he would say, sing a song. At first, Naja said, I can't sing. But Baba replied, when I ask you, you must. Once Mehera too said, I don't have a good voice and I don't know any songs. Baba told her to sing anyway, and she sang a song in Hindi. Then Khorshid sang. Many times Baba said, tell me a story, any funny story. One evening, Mehera mentioned that she had once read a story but did not remember it properly. Franey was visiting and Baba asked her. She and Big Khorshid told a story in Gujarati that Baba enjoyed very much. The next evening, Baba again was seated with them. They massaged his feet a little, and Baba chatted with the men mandali. Again, he asked for a story. The girls said, Baba, we don't know any other funny story. Could you scroll up, please, dear?
Um,
The one Franny told you yesterday is the only one we know. Baba did not mind. All right, repeat the same story again. And he enjoyed it just as much as if he were hearing it for the first time. He even had them tell it 2 or 3 times over the next few days, 2 or 3 more times over the next few days. The stories Baba liked best were about things that happened to people in real life And Mehera did narrate a few amusing incidents from her childhood at the Royal Hotel. One was about the night a cat climbed up a tree outside her bedroom. Franny heard a noise and jumped into their mother's bed. Mehera was asleep, but woke up later and found herself alone. She too went to Dalatmai's room and climbed in bed, pushing her mother over. Mother said, "For God's sake, Paroja," that's Franny, "take Mehera and both of you go back to your own room and go to sleep." One evening, Baba asked the girls on what day of the month they were born. Each day of the Zoroastrian calendar has a different name. Could you scroll up or down, whatever it is? What is it? Scroll down, scroll up?
Yeah, down.
Okay, scroll down. Mehera was born in the month of Tir, T-I-R, on the day Ashishvang. Each of them told Baba, and he teased them over their pronunciation. The sidebar says, Mehera used the Shenshe or Shahanshahi calendar, in which Tir is the 4th month and Ashishvang is the 25th day. In the Persian year 1276 YZ, I guess that's year of Zoroaster maybe, this equates to Sunday, 6 January 1907. Baba was born on the 13th day, Tir, of the 6th month. Sherevar, Persian year 1263. Let's see. I think this time you have to scroll up a little bit. We went past where I was. Okay, thanks. One evening, Baba asked the girls on what day of the month they were born. Each day of the Zoroastrian calendar had a different name. Mehera was born in the month of Tir on the day Ashishvang. Each of them told Baba, and he teased them over their pronunciation. Then one morning, after their work was completed and they had eaten lunch and washed up, Baba called them outside to the post office veranda. He was seated lotus fashion, and he said, "Come and sit in front of me. I'm going to teach you a song." Dread and dismay welled up inside Mehera. I had no voice, and I didn't know what to do. Big and small Khorshid had good voices and could sing. Naja had a voice like mine. Baba sang one line of a Marathi song about Krishna, his flute, and the gopis, and then repeated it. He told them to sing it. The two Khorshids sang it well, and Mehera and Naja sang it as best they could. Baba taught them the chorus and asked the two Khorshids and Naja to sing it alone. But he did not ask Mehera. She was spared. But Baba did get one song out of me, Mehera related. One morning when she and her mother were inside the post office, Baba came. He asked Mehera, "You went to an English school. Don't you know any English songs?" Somehow with Baba, my mind would always go blank. She tried to remember which songs she knew, but couldn't. So she told Baba that she did not know any. But Baba persisted. Wasn't there any favorite song the girls used to sing? Then Mehera remembered the song Swanee. And the girls at St. Helena's used to sing, which the girls at St. Helena's used to sing every day, or St. Helena's. It was popular, and she too had picked it up. Nervously, she sang it for Baba, and he liked the lively tune. Sidebar says, Swanee, written by George Gershwin and Irving Caesar, was made popular in 1920 by Al Jolson. Later, the record was obtained and played for Baba. Nervously, she sang it for Baba, and he liked the lively tune. Now teach it to me. How does it go? Line by line, they sang it together. As she sang it, the verses came back to her and she taught them all to Baba. This is the first English song I've learned, Baba stated, and he repeated, this is my first English song. The next morning, as Mehera was coming onto the veranda with the tea, she heard Baba singing the song. He sang it perfectly. Baba had such a good ear for music that he put right whatever notes I had gotten wrong when I taught him the song. He used to sing this song once in a while. Baba and Mehera had never before spoken together in English. Baba always conversed with her and the other women in Gujarati. I had never heard Baba speak English before this, Mehera said. In those days, there was no one in Meherabad with whom to talk in English, but it was in Baba's destiny to learn English for his work with the West, and his pronunciation was very good. Sidebar says, Adi Sr. too remarked that Baba's English was quite natural.
I heard he had a British accent.
Yeah, so cool. I love that about Indians speaking English. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Baba also told the women stories about the spiritual path. One of the stories that Baba narrated in 1924 was this one about Tulsidas, a perfect master who was a devotee of Ram, a previous avatar worshipped by the Hindus. There was a Muslim woman who was annoyed to see this Brahmin bathing every day below her balcony. That Tulsidas was so fastidious about keeping immaculately clean drove the woman wild. One day, to anger him, I don't know. One day, to anger him, she threw dirty water from mopping the floor on Tulsidas just after he had taken a bath. Tulsidas did not get angry. Taking the name of Ram, he went for another bath. What patience, what tolerance he had. The same thing happened again. The woman poured discarded water over the master, who again bathed. When she did this for a third time and saw that Tulsidas was not upset, she fell at his feet, saying, "You are a real lover of God. You never lost your temper." Tulsidas told the woman, "Madam, there is nothing to forgive. Ram knows all. He wanted me to have a bath 3 times today, so I did. You were only the medium." Baba added, "To curb anger is very difficult. Anger is there till the end. One's love should be as beautiful as Tulsidas's, who loved Ram with all his heart." Baba went on to tell them incidents from the life of Tulsidas, stating, "So much is needed in a man to be a lover of God. So much love, so much humility." And Tulsidas had all these qualities. He was a true lover of Ram. Baba often spoke about Mirabai and her love for Krishna, and Mehera developed tremendous admiration for this great woman saint. Baba said, Mira was God realized by Master Raidas late in life. When she was in her 60s, she was from a high caste Hindu family, yet her master was a scheduled caste untouchable. Even though Mira achieved God realization, this is not what she is remembered for. Her love for Krishna is what is outstanding. Love is the greatest power on earth. That is what God wants, and that is what Mira gave to Krishna. Once Baba told them a story of Master Raidas, who was a cobbler. A high caste Brahmin came into his shop, wishing to have his sandals mended. Water was kept in front of the cobbler, in which he dipped the leather to soften it. That day, Raidas was in a mood to distribute prasad. He dipped his fingers in the dirty water to give some to the Brahmin. The man held out his hand to receive the prasad, But when he saw what it was, he threw it down angrily and shouted, "How dare you offer me this filthy water?" The brownish liquid fell on the Brahmin's dhoti. That's a white loincloth like garment. He went home and took a bath. The maid was given the dhoti to wash. Although she soaked it for a long time and rubbed the stain, it would not come out. Finally, she put it in her mouth and sucked it. She swallowed a drop of the prasad and went into ecstasy.
Ah,
She left the soiled clothes where they were and went to the forest where she became.
oh, Rosalie is here.
She left the soiled clothes where they were and went to the forest where she became a sannyasi. Later, she got liberation. Baba remarked, "How potent."
Okay, no hurry. Yeah,
I gotta mute her.
Yeah, thank you. Baba remarked, "How potent was the master's prasad that the maid attained liberation even after washing the dhoti." In telling the story of Krishna one day, Baba described how the playful Krishna used to steal cream and butter from his neighbors. Said Baba, "Krishna had his reasons for doing it. The people weren't giving him cream, so he stole and ate it. His actions were for their own good. They benefited enormously. This was the gift he gave them." Baba explained that people depict Krishna as having blue skin, not only because Krishna was dark-skinned, but also primarily to graphically differentiate him from ordinary mortals. Once, while combing Baba's hair, Mehera had a thought to ask Baba something. She finished combing and brushing his hair, tied a ribbon in it, and came and stood before him. Mehera rarely asked Baba anything, but he was in a good mood that day. Her question was this: "Baba, in all of history, have there been more Hindu God-realized souls or more Muslim ones?" Baba replied, "More Hindu ones. There have been only a few Muslim ones." Another day, when Baba was in a communicative mood, Mehera mentioned something else that she had always wondered about. The Christians say that Jesus was born to a Virgin Mary. The nuns taught us that Mary gave birth to Jesus through the Immaculate Conception when the shadow of the Holy Ghost fell on her. Is this true? No, it's not true, Baba stated. Jesus was born in a natural way. How could it be otherwise? Every avatar is born in a natural way. The Catholics, in their love for Mary, have stated this belief. Baba also clarified later that the beloved of Jesus Christ was Mary Magdalene, not the Virgin Mary, who was Jesus's natural as well as spiritual mother. Mehera had also heard the story of a sati, that's a chaste woman, named Ahilya in the time of Ram. The story goes that the sati had been turned to stone, but when Ram touched the stone, it reverted to its human form. Baba told her it was a true story. In those days, such things happened. There are things that happened in the old days that nobody today can believe. They find it incredible, but such incidents actually took place. Today, they appear miraculous to us. Baba revealed that even the story of Noah's Ark was true, which Mehera speculated might have occurred at the time of the Mahapralaya.
Rosalie, could you read?
Yeah,
Welcome. I thought you weren't coming.
well, I wasn't, but I got away early.
Oh, good.
But at times, when Baba was talking and in a certain mood, he would say things to the women and then quickly add, "Forget it. I shouldn't have said that." Once he said that the world would be, quote, topsy-turvy, end quote, meaning that world conditions would change dramatically. The women hesitated to talk about it further. Mehera thought that maybe the world would actually turn upside down, as this was a literal translation from the Gujarati. Baba also declared, "One day a time will come when I will bring out my sword." Mehera had looked at him, quotes, "so dainty and lovely," end quotes, and thought that Baba did not look at all like the type to hold a sword, quotes, but he meant his spiritual sword. In mid-November 1924, Baba remained in seclusion in the Japti for a week, observing silence. The women never crossed the road and went inside this room. Mehera said, "The Japti is very sacred to me." That was the first room Baba had built at Meherabad, and he himself gave the measurements for the premises. After his seclusion, Baba decided to go to Bombay for 2 months. I'm going to read the sidebar. Mani also remembered Baba once alluding to the destruction of evil before the spiritual awakening of humanity. Quotes, "Wait until I unsheathe my sword," he said, "and then you will see." And Baba made a beautiful gesture of brandishing a sword. After his seclusion, Baba decided to go to Bombay for 2 months, beginning the first week of December. So he told the women to pick up everything. He instructed,
Pack up.
you need to mute. Someone needs to mute.
I said pack up. You read the wrong thing. It's not important.
Continue again. After his seclusion, Baba decided to go to Bombay for 2 months. I need more words.
Can you see?
Yeah, beginning the first week of December. So he told the women to pack up everything. Pick up and pack up. He instructed Masaji specifically that whatever was outside the post office must be brought inside, and the door would be locked when they left. Masaji obeyed so literally that not only did he bring inside all their belongings, he also brought in whatever trash had been thrown away and was lying outside. Dalit Mai, who was finishing the packing with Naja, tying up their kitchen utensils in gunny sacks, started to snicker. Baba asked what was so funny. Dalit Mai told him that Masaji was bringing in old tins, broken pieces of pottery, sticks, broken boxes, smashed crates, pieces of bamboo, old discarded brooms. Quotes, even the rusted thunder boxes, iron pans from their toilets, she said. Yes, I told him to put everything inside, Baba said. That is why he is, more words, please, doing it. He is obeying my order. And then I'm going to read this sidebar. You had to come down a couple of lines. In Hindu prophecy, it is said that at the end of the Kali Yuga, Iron Age, the avatar will appear, seated on a white horse, carrying a drawn sword and blazing like a comet for the final destruction of the wicked, the renovation of creation, and the restoration of, I can't see the word.
Sorry, this cat is trampling on my stomach.
The rest,
Can you see it?
yeah, when it stops jumping, I'll be able to read. And the restoration of purity. See the mythology of all races, Indian mythology. Anyway, but yes, I told him to put everything inside, Baba said. That's why he is doing it. He is obeying my order. Dalit apologized, saying she did not know this, being new to Baba's ways. This was an important lesson for her and the other women in literal obedience to Baba's instructions. Quotes, from that time on, we knew that Baba wanted his orders obeyed word for word, end quote, said Mehera. Dalit was adept at doing crochet work. Even the most difficult patterns. She had also knitted a warm, long sleeve woolen coat for Mehera, which she had not yet worn. It was a strawberry, almost all salmon pink, with 2 white stripes at the bottom near the edge. Baba had told them to bring their coats, as the train might be cold. So Mehera had it lying on her bedding roll. She had it lying on her bedding roll, ready to go. When Baba came back that night, he looked smart, dressed in the dark comely coat, which at that time had no patches. His long hair was loose, and beneath the open coat, he had on a sadra and sandals. Quotes, have you taken your warm things? Baba asked. You mustn't catch a cold. What do you have to wear? He walked past the luggage and noticed Mehera's pink coat. Picking it up, he said. He asked, whose is this? Is it warm? Let me see. He took off his comely coat and slipped on Mehera's. How do I look in this? Mehera said, Baba, it looks wonderful. You look lovely in pink. Yes, Baba said, I like it. He wore the coat for a few moments, then took it off, handed it to Mehera, and again put on his comely coat. He told Dalit Mai, I have worn it, and you are fortunate to have knitted it. Mehera was thrilled. She had never used the coat before. So really speaking, Baba wore it first. This was the first pink coat Baba ever wore, she recalled proudly. Baba looked so sweet in the dark pink tailored woman's coat with his open brown hair. He looked so handsome. It was slightly large for me, so it fit Baba even more perfectly. It was good that Mother had made it a bit big. The sidebar says, Dalit Mai later knitted a coat for Baba too, though he used it only once, as he did not like to wear knitted things. Baba then told Gustaji to hand him his turban, which he wished to wear to the station so that his hair would be hidden. Gustaji gave him a length of light mauve cloth. Baba unfurled it on the carpet and with swift, deft movements, wrapped it around his head and tucked it in. He looked very beautiful with his hair tucked inside the turban. More words, please. When their Tongas arrived, they left for the railway station, where Baba told Dalit Mai, Mehera, Small Khorshid, and Naja to wait on a bench. He began pacing up and down the platform until the train came. Baba was always restless. As he walked, he began to sing. When he came near to where some people were sitting on the platform, his voice grew softer. But when he went away, he would sing loudly and exquisitely. Again, as he came back, he would sing quietly. Baba couldn't do without singing. The sidebar says Daula Masi and Big Khorshid had already returned to Pune. The train arrived and Gustaji and Baba boarded it. Gustaji opened Baba's bedding roll in a small compartment with only 2 seats that had been reserved for Baba. The women were still sitting on the bench, waiting for Masaji and Padri to help them board the ladies' only compartment. When Gustaji came back and said, Baba wants Mehera. Mehera wondered why she was suddenly being singled out and felt a bit nervous. But she quickly went to Baba's compartment. More words, please. Yes, Baba. Baba was seated comfortably, leaning back against a pillow, his feet extended on the seat opposite. Sit down and massage my feet, he said, smiling slightly. Mehera sat near his feet and began to massage them, wondering how long she would be able to do so. As the train was about to start, after a minute, Baba said, you know, if you massage my feet like this every day, I will make you like Baba Jan. Mehera recalled, I was so surprised. I didn't know what to say. I was taken aback because I had never thought of becoming like Baba Jan. We just wanted to serve Baba and to love him. With a puzzled look on her face, Mehera glanced up and said, yes, Baba. Every day, he repeated, and after a moment, he said that she should go. Baba always said something that startled you, said Mehera. He knew I could never massage his feet every day. Once we reached Bombay, his room was far away from ours, and he was in seclusion and fasting. So we couldn't even enter his room, much less massage his feet. He knew I couldn't do it, but he enjoyed giving me a start. He wanted to give me a happy surprise. He was very sweet, but also very naughty.
And there we have, I'm not sure what that is, Mehera in the Meherabad kitchen.
And one of the Jaswala sisters.
Yeah. It's very dark. It's a little hard to see. And there we have Meherabad birthday celebration. Oh, wow, that's almost 100 years from ago.
Yeah.
February 18th,
Yeah.
1925, with Dina Talati, Frani, Gulmai, and Mehera and Shireen Mai. Dina Talati. I'm not sure who's who, but anyway.
Shireen.
Shireen is there.
Shireen, yeah. Wow. Oh, it looks wild.
Khan Saheb holding Frani's son Melu, Baba Jambu Mama, Bujar Darawala. These names.
I love these names.
Okay. I can read if you want a break. Do you want me to take over?
And I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
In Bombay, Meher Baba occupied a rented apartment in the Barucha building where he had stayed a year before. Small Khorshid went to her parents at Irani Mansion, so only 3 women, Dalit Mai, Mehera, and Naja, and 3 men, Gustaji, Padri, and Masaji, remained with him. The apartment was spacious enough for Baba to have a private room at the end of the hall, with Gustaji in one next to his, then Padri and Masaji in another room. And finally, the women in a room by the kitchen. The kitchen was quite large. While the women were cooking, Gustaji had been instructed by Baba to tell them stories of how to obey and stay with the master. Baba kept an eye on what was going on through a crack in the door. Before Baba put him on silence for the rest of his life, Gustaji loved to talk. He frequently spoke about the times that he had stayed with Sai Baba and Upasni Maharaj and how they tested their disciples. Quote, "One has to remain as steadfast as a rock." He cautioned them. The women tried to listen attentively to his unending stories, but at times they were so absorbed in their work, they would not reply to him when he asked something. Once Baba came to the door and scolded them. "Why don't you answer Gustaji when he is asking you something? Pay attention to what he is saying." One day, Baba told Mehera that the dal did not have enough salt in it. Mehera handed him the salt shaker, but Baba said, "Is this the way you serve salt?" Mehera became flustered. She did not understand what she had done wrong. Baba explained, "Put it down on the table first. If you give salt to a person in his hand, then you will quarrel with him." Mehera knew, of course, that Baba did not believe in such superstitions and thought he was repeating this old Indian proverb in jest. More words, please. But Baba continued, "If you hand me the salt, we will quarrel." After a pause, he added, "Okay, never mind. We quarrel every day anyway. Give it in my hand or put it down. It doesn't matter. It's the same." Mehera wondered, quote, "When do I quarrel every day with Baba?" She decided that perhaps it was not respectful to give salt in that way. And from then on, never handed Baba the salt shaker, but was always careful to put it down first. Baba kept silence for 7 days in the Barucha building and stayed in his room most of the day. No one was allowed in his room without permission, but the women could see him there in the evening. They sat for a short while and chatted, but as Baba was on silence, he would convey his, more words, please. He would convey his thoughts through handwriting. He's in silence now. Oh, temporary. Here for the first time, the sidebar says, unlike her own handwriting, Mehera always admired Baba's penmanship. About his short silences during this period, Mehera speculated that perhaps Baba wanted to get the feel of it. I need a little lines lower. He wanted to get the feel of it, keeping silence, to practice, to have an idea of it before he kept silence for good. When she related this, someone interjected, quotes, Baba wanted you to get the practice. And I need to go a little lower. Mehera laughed. Ah, okay, you want to go back up?
Sure. Where were you?
I don't know. Let's see. A little louder. Okay. Okay. Here for the first time, Baba gave each of the women some of the leftover rice and dal from his own plate as prasad. Baba's weak tea was to be taken to his room by Mehera every morning. On his tray was the warm water, a teacup, a teapot, and sugar, but no milk. One day, after his week of silence, when Baba opened the door and looked at the tray, he saw a tiny ant. The ant must have been under the edge of the tray and then crawled up as Mehera was carrying it. Baba was very annoyed. He pointed to the ant and said, "You're serving me tea with ants?" He okay. He took the ceramic teapot into the bathroom and threw it down. It crashed to the floor into pieces and the tea spilled out. Mehera took the tray back to the kitchen and told Naja to make more. This time she examined the tray minutely, wiped it clean, and made certain that there was no more ants on it before taking it back to Baba. Quotes, Baba taught us to be particular about his things, end quotes. And he was also testing her resolve. One night there was singing in front of the Barucha building. It went on throughout the night. The next morning, Baba told them that he had stayed awake all night to listen to it. According to Mehera, Baba composed the Bujawe Nar Arki during this time of seclusion. He sang it for them and wrote it down on a piece of paper that he gave to Mehera. But what became of it later, she did not know. Okay, I need more words. It has a sidebar. Let's see. Oh no, I already read that. Okay.
How many sidebars?
Yeah. Okay. Other records indicate that Meher Baba composed the Bujawi Nar or Gujarati Arti in Meherabad in, I need more, January 1926, over a year later. Perhaps Baba wrote another similar arti in Bombay. In any case, the Bujawi Nar arti was not sung until their stay in Nasik in the 1930s. Okay, you need to go down now. I need to the top. Wait.
I'm not sure where you left off.
Wait, hold on, just wait. Okay. Okay. I'll just repeat. One night there was singing in front of the Barucha building. It went on throughout the night. The next morning, Baba told them that he had stayed awake all night to listen to it. According to Mehera, Baba composed Bujave Nar Arti during this time of seclusion. He sang it for them and wrote it down on a piece of paper that he gave to Mehera. But what became of it later, she did not know. Dina Talati, Sunamasi, and Small Khorshid often visited them at Barucha building. According to Khorshid, Mehera had by now become spiritually minded. Since they were staying with the master, Mehera thought they should live simply and not wear colorful things, but always act demurely and be reserved. Then one day, Baba gave permission for them to go to the movies, and he said he would accompany them. But when they were ready to leave, seeing Mehera in a plain, somber cotton sari, Baba became upset. Haven't you got any better clothes than this? He demanded. If this is how you dress when you're going out with me, don't come.
Oh,
He told Khorshid, take Mehera to your house. Khorshid felt awful, thinking, now Mehera won't be staying with Baba anymore. She was sorry for her, but said to Baba, all right. Baba ordered, look after her at your house. And he left with the others for the film. Mehera and Khorshid began to cry, but they did not leave Barucha building. We won't go, Khorshid told Mehera. Let's try to persuade Baba again. The girls sat outside the door of the apartment on the staircase. We both didn't give it a thought of how it looked for two young girls to be sitting cheerfully alone on the landing, said Mehera. Soon Baba returned. He had left the picture halfway. As was his usual custom, when he saw them on the landing, he asked, you didn't hear what I said?
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
That's page 156.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just want to write it down. Oh. 156. Oh, I took the wrong thing. Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I love reading these books. It has so much interplay with Baba. It's just amazing. We know so little about the other avatars day to day. This is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, you look like you're wearing a sparkly jacket.
It's a dress. It's my, I call it my God dress because I just wear it for special occasions. You can already feel the birthday happening.
Was the today a special occasion?
Well, every day is really.
I just thought maybe you went
Yeah.
somewhere special. No.
Yeah, I had to do something. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you made it back.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah. And
Yeah,
in fact,
Lucky Baba. He got
Yeah.
all kinds of massages all the time.
Yeah.
He was
that's true. That's true. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
needed it too. God.
Someone was always pressing his feet or
I know that
pressing his hands.
you take all the suffering on, you're entitled to continual massage, I would say.
I have to end this now because somebody's waiting for me in the Zoom room, another Zoom room.
Oh,
I'll see you next week. I'm glad you made it, Eugene and Rosalie.
yeah, yes, me too. Us too. Us
Okay,
three.
Baba.
Okay, Baba.